So the other day I was reflecting on the persecution of Christians, and I started thinking to myself, okay Jacob, what if you started getting persecuted in the United Kingdom? What if Christians started getting locked up in prison? And I started thinking to the extreme of things. I said, okay Jacob, what would happen if you was locked in a 1-by-1 box? And I thought to myself for a moment, and I came to the realization that the only thing that us Christians are truly promised is prayer. For as long as we're conscious, we're never going to lose the ability to pray. And then it started making me think about all the privileges that we have as Christians, especially in the United Kingdom, in the West. Because when you think about Christians in Egypt, or you think about Christians in Iran, Iraq, and all these Middle Eastern countries, these are the ones that are truly being persecuted, being beheaded, being killed for their faith. And, us Christians here have it quite easy in the West. We don't have to worry about beheadings, we don't have to worry about being kidnapped for our faith and then, being tortured or anything of that such. Of course, you have rare occasions where it does happen, but we live pretty simple lives as Christians here. And I think that's why there's so much lukewarmness here, because there's not really a threat of death. I feel like the threat of death is what really makes you come to Christ. And that's really what helped me come closer to Christ, was reflecting on my death. And it just made me realize how quick death can come. Death can be around the corner. I think with the rising killings in London, where I live, it made me start reflecting on it more. People just getting stabbed, getting shot in some situations, which is insane. And just thinking to myself, well, Jacob, you're no different to anyone else. Why couldn't that happen to you? And it really made me start thinking about my death. But what this also made me start thinking about was how much of a privilege it is, how much of a gift even it is to go to things like divine liturgy, having a prayer book, being able to have a prayer rope. All these things that we take for granted, that we don't really perhaps always reflect on and think about how much of a blessing it is that we actually are able to go. Divine liturgy, Vespers, a church, have a priest that we can talk to. Because oftentimes when you have something at your disposal, you kind of just get used to it, like food. You probably don't realize how much food you actually have per day compared to someone in a poorer country who actually has to struggle for their food, has to walk tens of miles just to get some clean water, but we have it literally a 5-meter walk from your room, So I feel like with this reflection, it's really made me come to the realization that I need to be more grateful for divine liturgy. Even though I felt like I was, it's even put into more perspective that in the coming years, with who knows where the world's going, is there any guarantee that we're going to have divine liturgy in 10, 15, 20 years? Is there a chance that it could be taken away from us with changing governments or changing leadership who don't agree with Christians and they want to wipe us out? Who knows? Because we know that Christians are going to be persecuted in the end days. I mean, the end days have been going on since Jesus died. Persecution of Christians has always been happening. So this is something I've been reflecting on, and it's really opened my eyes to the fact that the little things that I do every single day, when I light my incense to pray, when I get my prayer book out, when I get my prayer rope out and I start praying, this is a privilege. Although it might not seem it, although it might just seem like something that is, you're meant to have this every single day. Truly, if persecution of Christians started happening in the United Kingdom, there's a chance that I lose all these privileges. So there's no reason that we should be skipping divine liturgy. And I'll put my hand up. I missed divine liturgy last week and I feel terrible for it. Because for me, divine liturgy is a place where I am guaranteed to encounter the Lord, because there's a divine miracle going on. There's a true miracle happening. And, I hate missing divine liturgy, but it was my own laziness that caused me to miss it. It was my first divine liturgy I missed in about a month and a half, 2 months perhaps. But nonetheless, I hate that I missed it. I hate missing divine liturgy because it is truly the most blessed time of the week. It's the most blessed time of the week. There's not a more blessed time of the week than divine liturgy. So with this reflection, it makes me get pumped, it gets me hyped to go to divine liturgy again, because, man, it's really isn't promised to us. All these things that we have and take for granted aren't promised to us. Even our houses, our clothes, our food, it can all be taken away with us in a snap of a finger. But prayer, it's never going to be taken away from us. So if anything, that should encourage us to pray more. It should encourage us to make that the pillar of our faith. Everything else in addition to that. And we should be grateful for that. It's such a blessing we get to go to church and stuff, but prayer is the only thing no one can ever take away from us Christians. The Jesus prayer, the Our Father, the Rosary, prayer in general, gratitude prayers, no one can take it away from us. So let's realize that blessing and let's continue to pray every single day to the Lord and nurture our relationship with Him, but also extend our faith into the church, into the books, into the Bible, into the prayer books, into the prayer ropes, everything that is an extension of prayer. Glory to God. Thank you for listening and have a good one.